Now we're live. I swear to God, I did that all right about 5 minutes ago.
No.
But
we're live now, so good. We're good.
We are. So welcome, everybody.
Again.
To Fantasy Whiplash. We've just done like half the show without anybody watching. Because that's how we roll, you know. It was like a dress rehearsal before the real deal.
And personally, I think we did really good.
I thought we did great. That's why I was so disappointed that we weren't live. Now the next question is going to be, did anybody stay long enough to see what's going on? Hey, Pete. Pete's here. Jamie's here.
Pete's here. Jamie's here. Angie was here. Hopefully she comes back.
No, Jamie, I did not forget to hit record.
It wasn't me.
I forgot to hit record.
It was
him. Oh, good. Angie's back. All right.
Yay.
So we did. All the important people are here.
All the people that matter.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So welcome everybody to Fantasy Whiplash. This is part of the Dynasty Gens network on PlayerProfiler now. We have just had a whole lot of practice, which was awesome. So I am Samwise. You can find me on Twitter, buy and sell you. Joined as always by my co-host Roxanne. You can find her on Twitter at FQueenRoxanne. Roxy, what is shaking? Say hi to the people.
Hi, people again.
Hi, actual people.
I should have noticed that. Damn it.
I should have. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say
yes, Pete.
Please like and subscribe. This video helps us with the algorithm, helps us get some more views. Thankfully, that debacle is behind us. So people aren't like, "What's this show?" They don't know what they're doing. And also, I want to remind everybody that this is a podcast as well. You can find all that information down in the description of the video. That's going to be particularly helpful during the season because during the season, the show is going to be a lot more fast-paced as we try to get around to as many games in the league as we can and as many fantasy players as we can. So hopefully you can, whenever you walk around, you can listen to us. You can listen to us before you do waivers, so on and so forth. So thank you guys. Tom Brady is the Broncos man. I don't think he is. I don't think that's actually true.
The Broncos, I'm pretty sure, are the only team that have a winning record against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Whoa, I don't know if you're making.
I'm pretty positive about that. Am I right, Peter?
He doesn't know. He lives in like New Jersey.
He said, "Go Broncos." Yep, that's right. See, I knew that.
Okay. Anyway, thanks guys for sticking it out.
Thank you for sticking around. Thanks for joining.
Or those of you who left and came back, We appreciate that very much.
I put out
The
another
NFL
tweet.
never takes any time off, even though we do, clearly, at the beginning of this video. So we're going to start with some of the news that, you know, it's happened since the last time Roxy and I were here. So we want to give some of our reactions to it. And yeah, and then we'll go from there. I think we got a couple of players to talk about, who we like and dislike at their current ADPs, and we will do that as well. So let's start with the big one. It is Aaron Rodgers finally signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Roxanne and I are going to try to put aside our personal feelings on this gentleman and just ask this: Roxy, is Rodgers going to be a viable quarterback one this season, like in the top 12? Is he going to be somebody that everybody's going to start week in, week out?
As a fantasy player, drafter, ball knower, he was pretty good last year, right? Like, he wasn't bad last year. You can't say he didn't do good last year. Yes, I think so.
The pain in your face.
I needed another quarterback in a draft, and I didn't even take him, and I should have. And it was before he signed, though, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this guy. And now I'm kind of upset I didn't take him again.
Right.
Metcalf and Roman Wilson are his receivers right now, right? That's who he has. Metcalf fell off a lot last year. We don't know about Roman Wilson yet, right? Like, what's going to happen with that? We don't know the his chemistry with people is just so weird. So if he can have good chemistry with Metcalf, I think, yeah, he would definitely be a viable number one. He's not going to be the first quarterback you're taking, but if you pass and pass and pass on quarterbacks for some wide receivers, some running backs, even a tight end, and then you have to make a decision, yeah, he'll do good for you. Great.
Yeah, I think we'd be, remiss if we didn't mention that they probably need to add somebody, because he's going to whip the ball all around the field. It's going to be maddening for Caleb Johnson owners. The amount of times you saw it in New York, the amount of times he audibles out of runs just to throw the ball, even when it's not a good idea. But I think they're going to add another receiver. So I think maybe an Amari Cooper or a Keenan Allen could both be in play here, because I think it would be a veteran.
My thoughts on Amari Cooper is if they both have the attitude that we both know that they have, it could be a really bad situation for both of them there. Keenan Allen, on the other hand, could be really good there with him. And I think if they're going to go one way or another, they should go towards Keenan Allen and not Amari Cooper. I would like Amari Cooper, but I think attitudes really come into play, especially in football, especially with Aaron Rodgers. And I think they both have this weird attitude thing. They both have attitudes, and it could be a bad chemistry for them. Keenan Allen is a more, it seems to me, calm, go with the flow kind of guy, and he might just say, fine, I'm playing with Aaron Rodgers, so let's make the best of it and see what happens here.
Yeah, and Allen had a pretty good season last year. I don't know the stats in front of me, but he was pretty solid for Chicago. And not only that, but what you could see is that Keenan Allen at his age is still one of the best route runners in the NFL. Right. He always has been. He's going to go down in history. He's going to be one of those people that people mention, like, oh man, Keenan Allen was
Right.
was an awesome route runner and stuff like that.
I agree. I think Keenan Allen is who they should target. They need to target somebody. Or it's just going to be another throwaway season for him, and he'll probably be done after that. Could it be Tomlin's first year not making the playoffs, not being over 500? It definitely could be. I don't see it happening because I love Mike Tomlin and I would never say anything bad about him. But I could see it happening.
There's already Pittsburgh fans saying that if he can't, because I mean they've been hovering around 500 for a while now,
forever.
So there's already Pittsburgh fans saying that if he has a losing season, he should be out the door.
And I don't agree with that.
Man, there's 31 other teams in this league that would take right. Mike Tomlin. Like,
I think people need to learn to appreciate a good coach when they have it.
Yeah,
as somebody that went through numerous coaches, watching the Broncos just go through just such stupid people.
Yeah.
When you get a good coach, you need to hold on to that. And Tomlin's a good coach. And again, like I think I said, I think he just signed last year a few-year contract still with them. Again, right. Means nothing in the NFL, but it means they respect him. They want to keep him. They know what kind of coach he is. But Aaron Rodgers is not their long-term solution. It's a one-year patch. It's a Band-Aid, and it's going to go one way or another.
Well, the Steelers they can finish all three ways. They can have an awful season and finish in the red. They could have the season they've had a lot recently, which is hovering just one game above or one game below 500 until the very end. Or they could make everybody in that division angry and go to the playoffs again.
Right. And what's to say they're not going to? It's what they do. It's what Tomlin does.
They're the three true outcome teams for sure.
Right.
Jamie says, too bad Antonio Brown can't come back because he's wanted for murder or something.
That guy could have been so amazing and such a legend and Hall of Fame player, and he has just ruined everything he ever did. I'm sorry.
And Jamie's here for open mic night. Gabe Davis needs a home.
There's a question when we go to questions at the end of the show I want to go back to because it was Drake, May, or Bo Nix. I don't want to answer that now, but I want to go back to that later.
Okay. You'll remind me?
Of course.
You remember what the
because I want to talk about it.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
What's going on in the Mile High City? I asked the Denver Broncos fan. They just brought in J.K. Dobbins. Everybody thought they were all set with R.J. Harvey. Now R.J. Harvey fantasy stands are all up in arms because they don't know what's going to happen there.
Right.
You know, who's going to get the carries, who's going to get the majority of the carries, if there's a way Dobbins can beat out Harvey for that job. What do you think now?
I think with Sean Payton, it's we don't know, right? Like he's that coach. He very tight-lipped, doesn't let the media in. He's not going to tell anybody anything at all. He's not that kind of coach. He's always been that way. As somebody that has drafted a lot of RJ Harvey, I want him to be our number one, but I'm very happy that they signed Dobbins here also.
Yeah, I think I was a big fan of Dobbins last year for having the comeback that he did.
He was awesome for fantasy.
He's just had such a string of bad luck that you got to feel good about a guy who's finally gets his shot and does something decent with it.
And I would think he's got to feel good signing with somebody like Sean Payton, who loves their running backs. This guy loves his running backs, right? Like that's what he's known for. He makes running backs really good. That's what he does. How much how much of that is Dobbins going to take from Harvey, or how much is Harvey going to have, and Dobbins is going to be, like you said, the red zone guy?
Right.
Again, there's no, we've talked about this. I listen to sports radio all day, every day. They go to practices, they do it all. There's no telling what Peyton's going to do. We have 5 running backs right now that are viable.
And he's not going to tell you either.
He's definitely not going to tell
every word out of Sean Payton's mouth during training camp is, this guy looks good. And then people are like, Sean Payton said he looks good. I'm like, Sean Payton says everybody looks good.
That's what he does.
It's really, he's not giving, a particular endorsement to anybody in particular.
He sat Estime in the playoffs and played Beatty.
Beatty?
I don't know about McLaughlin. I don't know.
I think McLaughlin. I think McLaughlin should be packing his bags.
Hey, we got to say hi to Tip real quick because he's in the chat, and it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Tip.
Happy birthday, Tim Major.
It's also Prince's birthday.
I'm so glad you came to celebrate your birthday with us.
Me too.
So excited to see that we had a show on your birthday.
We did it just for you, Tip.
I hope you're eating cake.
It's batty like the batty girls. See?
I think McLaughlin is on his way out of town, and I think that because Estime is still very young, and he's a little bit more of a bruiser if he needs to be, and even though he might not be as talented, or at least not yet in the NFL.
Yet. Right.
I can see McLaughlin losing, taking a meeting with the Chiefs, and just immediately signing with the Chiefs.
I would hate that.
As they try to replace Samaje Perine and, want to have another Jerick McKinnon type of deal happen there.
I wouldn't like it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
You never go in the same division. You don't give to them.
But he still has eligibility for the practice squad.
Right.
So you could see Dobbins and Harvey and Estime, dressed for games on every Sunday, and Badi might be a practice squad guy. And then when there's an injury, he might.
But then I go back to my point of he sat Estime in the playoffs and played Batty. We're going to go with Batty.
Right. Yeah, and Estime, they tried to.
And what the hell does that mean? Like, what are you doing, Sean? Do you know how many people bet on Estime in the playoffs? We had one game. We bet on him, and he didn't even get to play? I was mad.
Now Sean's costing you money.
Oh, that's what the Broncos have done for quite a while. But last year, though, I did make a lot of money on them on their over-under 5.5 wins. I pounded it so hard. I pounded it while I was in Vegas. I pounded it on every app because everybody had it at 5.5, and I knew they were going to win more than 5.5 games.
We're going to have such a hard time in season getting through this show without us both spouting off about gambling. We're going to be like, and anyway, about the 49ers and Seahawks, I like the 49ers -7.
Hey, it's fantasy football, gambling, and then NFL, right?
Right.
We're bad gamblers together, especially us two together. Like we're pretty bad.
Yeah. We'll stick with the running backs. James Cook surprised everybody by showing up for practice in Buffalo, like 2 days after the Buffalo management said we don't expect to see him anytime soon, because he was holding out because he wants to be the highest paid running back in the NFL, which we all know isn't going to happen. And And the question is now whether he's wearing out his welcome in Buffalo by being that guy. But at least he's there practicing now, so it seems like he's going to play one way or the other. But it sounds like he's going to be a little mouthy about it.
I pounded the table for James Cook last season. Take him as your one. But not be paid as your one, as the number one running back in the NFL, because he's not. And he doesn't deserve that.
He's definitely not.
He's great. He's great for fantasy, but he does not deserve more than Saquon. I'm sorry.
Well, and even in fantasy, he's going to regress this year because he's not going to just turn around and put 15 touchdowns on the board again.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
That's like 3 years ago when Mostert had, a whole ton of them. But I mean, Cook barely got over 1,000 yards.
Right.
But because he put all those touchdowns on the board, he had great points at the end of the season and makes his points per game look good, even though I don't subscribe to that statistic. But yeah, I think, not to mention the fact that Ray Davis is just sitting there licking his chops.
Right. Give him his opportunity then.
Because Davis is a good running back.
He is great.
And people were already waiting for the Ray Davis takeover.
Right.
And they might start getting it sooner than they thought. So. And
I believe that the Bills aren't afraid to say, no, we're not going to pay you.
Yeah.
They've done it with wide receivers. They're not the team that is like, oh, okay, we have to give in and we're going to give you all the money. They're not them. They have their quarterback. It's not what they do.
Well, and they could also, they could move. They could tell Cook, look, we're not going to give you more money, and they could know in their heads that they're not even going to re-sign him at the end of the season. And because of that, they can decide to see what Ray Davis has got and make them split carries. Then Cook's going to be really mad because it's a contract year and he's going to end up with like 500 yards rushing.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's not going to be happy about that at all.
Right. That's a fluid situation that you need to keep an eye on. And do you know James Cook's ADP? I didn't actually look at that.
Yes, I did. Did I write it down? I didn't. No, I'm not sure what it was. Wait, I had a different piece of paper. No, but I would assume it's up there pretty high, and
he's like the third or fourth running back going, I'd imagine.
Yeah, something like running back. Like that. Well, you got the rookie, and then you got Henry and Barkley and Gibbs and
Irving.
Yeah, Bucky Irving probably. Those guys are probably all going before.
So he's like the fifth, sixth running back going off the board. I think that's a good place for him still. 42, 12, 24, 36.
Yeah.
So third or fourth round.
Okay. Yeah. Probably third round. Thanks, Jamie. Where did I write those down at? I wrote down a bunch of ADPs before I went to bed last night, and that's the problem with doing
14th running back off the board?
What's that?
The 14th running back off the board is James Cook. That's pretty shocking to me, actually.
I can buy that. I can buy that.
I like it.
I mean, if you ask me to name off 13 running backs, right. I'd probably have a hard time.
Right.
But maybe there's some. I mean, again, this is when these ADPs are taking into account that people know he's not going to score that many touchdowns. He's not going to have that many points again. And
holding out doesn't look good for you.
Yeah. And
for the Bills especially.
And also you just can't you can't count on it when Josh Allen is the quarterback
Exactly.
either. All right, moving on. Let's stay in the AFC East. And coming as a surprise to no one, the New England Patriots are unveiling the Tom Brady
Oh my
statue
God.
before their preseason opener, and everybody is dying to know, Roxy, will you be there?
So, my new job. I get to fly wherever I want for free, whenever I want. If the dates line up, if everything works out, I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, man.
Are you kidding me? I have Tom Brady shoes. Like, how could I miss it? I will be there if I can be there. If I can get on a plane that morning and I can get on a plane that night with no problems, I'm there. Absolutely. No question about it.
I think
I need my picture with Tom's statue.
I think when they have the unveiling of his statue, they would be really smart to tie in like a high profile sponsor.
Me?
Like Brazzers. They could have Brazzers be their sponsor. That'd probably be pretty good.
I think I should be there, and I definitely will. Like I said, if my schedule works out, I get a fly for free, I'm there. I don't know how my schedule is going to work out.
You are a committed fan, and nobody can say otherwise.
1,000%.
Last but not least, we got some cut candidates out there. Now that it's after the June 1st deadline. So that's exposing guys like Kirk Cousins, Antonio Gibson in New England, Tyreek Hill. They can all be given their walking papers for less than what their contract would dictate. Or I definitely means, they're probably on the block right now. I'm sure Tyreek Hill's on the block. Cousins is probably on the block. They're just waiting for somebody to have a quarterback issue. And that's probably the first place somebody's going to go knocking. So, they got Tyreek is still being drafted basically in the second round. His normal ADP is, I think, 24.2. So second, beginning of third. And then Kirk Cousins, I'm not even sure about. I assume it's low since he's not starting yet.
I'm not sure about Kirk Cousins either because he's not a starter yet.
Gibson's ADP is 237.
Right.
That would be round 20. And
right.
I'm pretty sure most of you are not in redraft leagues where you're going 20 rounds. So he'll likely be on the waiver wire, both in real life and in fantasy.
All right.
So what do you think? Do you think Kirk Cousins could have some success if somebody loses their quarterback?
Of course. I do.
I don't think he was ever fully healthy last year.
I know last year. No, he wasn't. And I know last year, those first few weeks of the season, we lost a lot of quarterbacks. Like a lot of quarterbacks went down. A lot of quarterbacks got hurt last year. Kirk Cousins will land somewhere. He will.
Well, and he was coming back from an ACL.
Right.
Like usually the quarterback is not ready to go.
Right.
The following season.
But is he now? Is he practicing? Like what's going on with him? I don't hear much about him. I just know he was mad last year. They drafted Penix and now where,
Yeah.
You have to wait for an injury at this point, and I don't want anybody to get injured, but unfortunately it will happen. And it can happen anywhere.
Right.
And they should definitely take Kirk Cousins.
Right. And, you know, they'll be disappointed if something happens to Penix and they don't have Cousins anymore.
Flacco has a better chance of starting than Cousins. That just blows my mind. I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
Never mind. I do not like Flacco. He was here for a while. I didn't like that whole experiment. We didn't like him before that. You know what I mean? That AFC game where John Fox decided to kneel with 32 seconds to go, and then they beat us in overtime. It just really made us not like Flacco, and then they bring him in a few years later and expect us to like him? No.
Right.
But he has a better chance of starting than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's a little preposterous.
It is preposterous. I agree.
How do you really feel?
Well, don't make me cuss because I could.
Anyway, you can find all of the ADPs, even the one that's I didn't write down that Jamie gave me. All of those ADPs are listed at PlayerProfiler.com on each player's page. It has the current underdog ADP. You know, we're going to talk about some of the ones we think that are a little higher or a little lower. Just a couple. We got a couple, but they're ones that are going to spin your head a little bit, I think. So we're going to talk about that right after the Podfather.
It is a damn shame we only get to do a handful of rookie drafts every season. After doing all this rookie analysis, you want more bites at the apple. And that's why we have the Fast Draft Origins tournament. You draft 6 rookies, the top 4 into your lineup. It's best ball style, and it's just $5 to win a $5,000 first prize. So if you're passionate about Taj Brooks or RJ Harvey, get on Fast Draft and use your favorite creator's code to get a $50 deposit match. A $50 deposit match to go make thousands of dollars drafting the rookies that you know and love.
So there you have it. Fast Draft is it's getting really popular. They have it's called Fast Draft Fridays, and especially if you join our Discord, it's free. You go on there, and people are saying, "I need 2 more for this draft or 2 more for that draft," and you can also do it turbo style, where you just put your rankings in and say, I want to draft 10 teams. You do not get 10 of the same team. You get multiple different entries, and you can actually win a ton of money at the end of the season. And it's cheap. And on Fast Draft Fridays, there's all kinds of promo things like, hey, if you draft 10 teams today, you win number of credits to draft 50 more for free or something like that. So you can go all in and just try to outplay the numbers.
I've done, I think, 5 drafts on there now, 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
But like 3 of them, like I entered and they're like waiting on people. And then in the middle of the night, I get the notification that my draft has started and it's auto drafted me because obviously.
Yeah. See, I
love them. Like the players I still get, I'm like, damn, that's a great team.
Right. Yeah, I don't. I haven't often had the time to sit there and wait for a draft to start and so on and so forth. Sorry about my dog.
Your groceries are there.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. But Abigail, yeah, she's not going to listen to me. So I always do the turbo draft with my rankings. And that's cool because you can, when you tell it, I want I want 10 teams. You know, it's 10 different contests. You're not just entering one contest 10 times. It puts you in 10 different contests, and you might get different players in each one based on your rankings and that sort of thing. But you can set it to go and then leave, and then they just send you an email like a half hour later saying, here's your teams. And it's got a whole list of who you got. And Fast Draft also keeps track of who you're drafting most of, who you're drafting least of, so on and so forth. But it's a lot of fun. That's the only reason I'm going on and on.
And it's very fast, and it's 6 players is all. It's very like what people want right now.
Yeah. And you can do rookies only.
They have IDP too.
You can do rookies only. You can do Flex 4, which is you draft 6 players and 4 of them will start every week. It's best ball style. And there's also a D up for the defensive player fanatics out there that like to play IDP. So check it out. And that's enough fast drafting. But go to Fast Draft app and download the app. So let's talk about a couple of ADPs that are higher or lower currently that we're willing to reach for or that we think are too high. Let's start with too high. Roxanne, who you got that's too high?
So I know people are really going to yell at me for this, but I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going too high.
Whoa!
I know. His ADP is 9.8, so we're talking first round, which is, I'm not saying he can't be a first round wide receiver, because he can. But we have, Jesus Christ, my mind just went blank.
Travis
Hunter, God, came in. And I know a lot of people are like, he's going to play both. He's going to play offense and defense. He's not. He's going to play mostly offense. And they had their media week, I think last week. They had 7 practices. He was 5 on offense, 1 on defense, 1 on both. So they're obviously he's going to be on offense. Obviously he's going to take away from Brian Thomas. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I also, I'm a big Travis Hunter fan, first of all.
Obviously, I am too.
I'm going to throw that right out there. But, a lot of Travis Hunter's film scores from scouts, his ratings were better than Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors. So if that's true, and that's reliable, if he's that good, they're not going to be able to keep him out of that offense. If you're that good that you'd be a difference maker, then they're just going to pacify you by letting you play a little defense, but all of a sudden you're only like the nickel. You know what I mean? Like you're only playing a down every now and again.
I agree.
I tend to agree with you.
Let's see. Travis Hunter's ADP is 63-ish, 63.3, I think it was.
So do you think that's
going a lot higher?
Yeah, I think it should be too.
I think people that are waiting to take him, or I'm going to take Brian Thomas and he's not going to affect him at all. He absolutely is going to affect him at all. He absolutely is.
Yeah.
Living in Colorado, I got to watch the games in real time. I got to watch what he did, and he is a freak athlete on offense. He really is like, damn. And can that translate to the NFL? Maybe. He's got Liam Cohen now. Liam Cohen for years was a college coach, offensive coordinator, whatever. He did, UMass, UK, Brown University, and then he went to the NFL. He was the offensive coordinator for the Rams in 2022, right after they won the Super Bowl. He was the offensive coordinator last year for Tampa Bay. They were the third best scoring offense in the NFL last year. Can he take him from the college level this year and make him great? I hate to pound it, and I know the Jaguars are not who people want to be drafting, but I really think that whole dynamic, Liam Cohen, all of it, I think some people say he's the quarterback whisperer, right? Like, can he be? Can he make Trevor Lawrence better? Can Trevor Lawrence live up to that first round pick from 5 years ago that we all expected him to be? Can he stay healthy?
Yeah, I think I generally dislike it when people put too much weight on a player to be good their first year. That's still kind of a rarity now. I remember when you had to wait till a wide receiver's third year for him to be any good.
That's not the case anymore.
Huh?
That's not the case anymore.
No, it's not. But the ones that really explode year one, your Jamar Chases, your Justin Jeffersons, and so on and so forth. Your Brian Thomas. They're still in the minority of the rookies.
I think what they have done there, though, with Liam Cohen, and I know people like the way he said Duval makes people like, oh my God, I can't believe you even have any faith in him. Look what he's done, though. You have to look what he's done and where he's been. And obviously the Jaguars believe he can do something. Look what they had before, like Urban Meyer and just I feel
they've
bad
been in disarray
from what he has gone through. And I'm hoping this is his year, if he can stay healthy, that he proves to people I deserve to be that number one pick, because he has not yet.
Right.
And we're 5 years in. He was drafted in 2021, right? As the first pick. I think it was 2021. So we're 4 or 5 years in. This is his fifth season. He was hurt last year after week 10. I think he went down in week 9 or 10. His best finish was a quarterback 6. His worst was a 26. I think the 26 was the week he got hurt. But if Liam Cohen can do what he was brought in to do, I think we're all sleeping on the Jaguars and what can happen.
Are they going to be your new team?
No. I'll draft people from them. Not their running backs or anything, but
yeah, I think he's going to be very good, and I agree with you. I think he's going to take a lot away from Brian Thomas. I want to say one other thing.
Also, here's really quick. Brian Thomas was better last year with Mac Jones after Trevor Lawrence went down. He didn't have the targets, he didn't have the receptions until Trevor Lawrence went down last year.
Right.
Then he exploded.
Yeah.
It was Mac Jones, right?
What's that?
It was Mac Jones, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I just wanted to mention that I have a almost as big a problem with people that heap all this. Okay. Guys have one good year. There are some people that don't, that doesn't mean they're going to keep doing that.
Right.
I got to see it twice. That's not, if I see one good year, I'm not drafting him at 9th.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
You know what I mean? For like I said, for every guy like that, there's a guy like Kyle Pitts that comes out and has a great first season, and then
the fantasy football community goes crazy.
Yeah,
right?
he pulls
For
and
him.
and he pulls an Amber Heard the next year, and and people are like, "What happened?" So I don't want to see that. But anyway, let's who's the next one we had? Oh, you know what? If you upset him with Brian Thomas, I'm just gonna pile right on. I'm going Nico Collins. Um, I think Nico gets a little too, there's this weird thing where some people are willing to excuse a player from missing a certain amount of games for injury. Meanwhile, another player that misses that same amount of games is like, absolutely not. And Nico is the former. He's not played hardly any full seasons. He's played 14 games, 10 games, 15 games, 12. He's never had, I think, more than 68 receptions. Or no, I think he had 83, and then he had 68 last year. And now everybody's like, well, Dell's gone, and Diggs is gone. So it's going to be more of the more of the same kind of, just same kind of stuff. It's going to be all, Nico. So Roxanne disappeared on me, but I'll keep going on this. You know, I don't think a lot of other players can miss that many games and not have fantasy managers be a little annoyed by it. So that surprises me, that people are just willing to completely excuse him for that. And yeah, those other players in the wide receiver core. Sorry, Angie. The other players in the wide receiver core are gone. But look what they did. They went out, they got Christian Kirk, who's going to be slot guy extraordinaire. He's been a reliable asset, if not blowing the top off of anything. And then on top of that, they went out and drafted the 1-2 punch from Iowa State, when they went out and got Noel and Higgins. So, there's no loss of weapons there. Never mind what comes out of the backfield. You had Gibson with X number of catches last year, and Woody Marks had 47, or I'm sorry, Joquavius Marks had 47 catches in college last year. So obviously he could step in as a change of pace back. I just don't see Nico being able to be much better than he has been lately. And he's another one that people are they're putting up really, really high. And that's concerning to me. So I'm letting Nico fall. If he falls into my lap, I'll take him. But there's enough people that are so crazy about him that I'll let them take him instead.
Yeah, my Chromebook just decided to restart all of a sudden on me. I love that.
Yeah, that's all
right. So I'm not going to interrupt your Nico thoughts because those are yours.
That was the completion of my Nico thoughts.
I think people are drafting Nico. My personal opinion, I think they're drafting him a little too high, but it could also be a boom year for him. I'm
You
not
think so?
drafting him where he's being drafted. I can tell you that.
So even with three, I mean the guys from Ohio State, the rookies, one of them's not even listed as a starter on the depth chart. But they combined last year for 2,400 yards on 170 receptions. I know that's college,
Right.
but it's still the Big 12. I mean, it's not like it's terrible. And so you think even with the two of them and Christian Kirk, who's a savvy veteran playing the slot, you think Nico's going to overcome all that and stay healthy?
Right. I'm not drafting him where people are drafting him. If he falls, sure, I'll take him, but he's not falling.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll take him if he falls into my lap. If my draft list says Nico Collins at the top of it, when it's my turn to pick, then I'll take him.
Right.
Or maybe within two or three guys.
Right.
But so what about let's go back to your Jaguars.
They're not mine.
Yeah,
I just think they have a really high upside.
Roxanne's the number one fan of the Jaguars.
When Tom Brady retired, somebody asked me, who's going to be your new guy? And I'm like, oh, I think it could be Trevor Lawrence if he does good because he has great hair.
Well, and that's my question. Do you know Trevor's ADP?
133.3, 133.4, somewhere around there.
Okay. So he's fairly down in the quarterback ranks. You think he's got a shot at top 10?
I do, with all the things that are working into place there, what he needs. Again, his coaches have been really ridiculous there for him in Jacksonville. Like, I think Liam Cohen, somebody coming from a college background that knows how to work Hunter in, who knows how to work Brian Thomas in, who is the quarterback whisperer. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be, how many years does Cohen have? We'll say 2 or 3. It's going to be this year or next year.
Right.
And if he can stay healthy, I think drafting him at 133 is you should be taking him before that.
Yeah. I mean, that's like drafting him as your, possibly as your QB2, depending on whether you hit the jackpot.
Right. And I think he could be that jackpot quarterback this year with the way the pieces have fallen this year, right now for him. What's going on there? Because it has not been good for him.
Yeah. Got these guys in the chat are talking about Nixon May.
Right.
So
what's your thoughts first? Because I'm a Bronco fan, so we know what I'm going to say.
I'm going to agree with Mike and what he said, which is I think it's in redraft, it's Knicks all day long. I think I'd be more apt to take Drake May in Dynasty, because I think his ceiling is going to end up being higher, but it's going to take him a long time to get there.
Right.
But
does Grable help him though?
But I'm a really big Knicks fan.
Huge.
Really big Knicks fan.
I love Knicks. I can't believe what he did last year. We hadn't been to the playoffs since 2015. Obviously, we won the Super Bowl that year, but we had not been back since. And again, Vegas did not think we were going to do good. 5.5 wins. It stayed at 5.5 until the season started. They really had no belief in him. He's got Sean Payton. He's got weapons. He's got running backs now. He's got everything to make him, again, your jackpot quarterback. He could be like he's falling. And if you let him fall to you and then you decide, all right, I've taken my wide receiver, I've taken my running backs, let's take a shot on Bo Nix. That could be the game changer right there.
Yeah, I had Nix in a lot of leagues
So did
last
I.
year. And I have him in several of my dynasty leagues as well that I was rebuilding. So my quarterbacks in those leagues are all rookies or second-year players. And I couldn't be happier with what he's done so far.
And what's going to happen this year, right? Like him and Sean Payton seem to like each other. He took him, like he drafted him at 12. Like there was a reason he saw something and it worked out for us finally for once. But again, Drake May with Vrabel could be another one. And I don't think Drake May is going. I think he's going where he should be going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's
all the upside last year. My mom lost a quarterback last year, and I'm like, go pick up Drake May. And she ended up making the playoffs and getting I think my mom got second or third place in the league. And finally, after the season ended, and she texted me, thank you for telling me to take that May guy. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm pissed I didn't take him.
So welcome.
So welcome.
Were you in that league with her?
Yes, it's my home
league. Did you finish above her?
No. I did for regular season standings, but the way my league plays, so we play all the way through the regular season, and then we redraft for the playoffs, and then play through the playoffs and Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And my mom finished above me.
Wow.
I took 6 out of 6 teams. I got last. Thanks, Baker.
Man, oh man. And look at you. People are watching you on a YouTube show.
I should get my mom on here.
They're like, what?
My daughter told me to take May.
All right, we're kind of up against it here. I'm gonna say I've got one that I think is being underdrafted. And I don't even know once again. He's going 66th, which is about 30, or no, he was drafted 66th, which was round 302 of the draft last year. I don't have his ADP in front of me because it doesn't matter. It's too low. And that is Trey Benson from Arizona. I know everybody loves James Conner. I love James Conner.
I loved James Conner last year.
Yeah. I mean, and that was great. But, the knock on Conner has always been the same. It's been, can he stay healthy?
Right.
And for the first time in his career, he did last year. But at 30 years old, I can't believe that he repeats that again with all of the injuries that he has had. So he's going to come into the season as the guy. But I honestly believe that Benson, who didn't get that many opportunities, but still averaged 4.6 a carry, had 300 yards rushing. And looked pretty good doing it. I think if Conner goes down with injury for more than about 2 games in a row, if he goes down for 3 or 4, I think Benson's going to take that role and not give it up.
Yep.
We're forgetting about, he was, like I said, he got picked at the very, very beginning of the 3rd round in the NFL draft. And that was in not a draft like this one that had a ton of really good running backs, but teams waited on running back because they could. But there were a lot of people going into that draft saying Trey Benson is my RB1. I was one of them. And I've got him rostered all over the place in Dynasty, and I plan on targeting him all over the place in redraft as well.
I agree.
And just waiting for him to turn around and get his opportunity.
We never root for injuries, but it's inevitable. And at 30 years old and James Conner's history, he should be definitely the top of your list of handcuff running backs you should be taking.
Yeah. I think Connor averages about 13 games a season. He's been as low as 10. And then most he's ever played was last year. It was 16. So
and his age is a big factor. 30 is old in running back years. He's not old. We know that.
Right.
We're old.
Right. Well,
He's not old.
I think Benson fits that system better too for what they want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to keep the ball moving, and they want to move the ball downfield. You know, they've got this tremendous weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyler can run. He needs. I'm not a huge Kyler fan, but
I'm not either. Alligator arms. What we call
need
him.
to improve some accuracy. But they sunk a lot of money into the trenches last year,
Right.
or sunk a lot of draft capital and money. So I think that's going to help him a lot. Maybe they can, put him on stilts too. I don't know. Something that
He's like as tall as me.
something. Would it be funny if he got off the bench to come into the game and there were 2 yellow pages stacked on top of each other?
Okay, let's address the question of Shedeur Sanders. Should you be drafting Shedeur Sanders anywhere?
What? What did you say?
Should you be drafting Shedeur Sanders anywhere?
Oh man, this is hard for me because I hate Shedeur Sanders.
But for fantasy value,
no,
dynasty value,
no. Dynasty maybe.
So say Flacco gets hurt because he's older than us.
Right. Is
Who
he?
is it then?
I don't
Is
think
it
he's
Shedeur?
not older than me. If he's older than me, he's setting records.
In quarterback years, he's older than us.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll take that.
Should you? Is he gonna take over if Flacco goes down? Say Flacco is the starter. Is Shedeur taking over if Flacco goes down?
He might take over regardless. But I still wouldn't.
I took him as my third quarterback in one best ball league. I'm not gonna lie.
Third is one thing.
Right.
Third quarterback is one thing.
Right. I did take him.
Best ball, I have no problem with that. Do I think he's going to get drafted and redraft? I don't. I think he's.
I don't think he should be.
Even if they come out and say he's the starter before the season, I still think he's going to be on the waiver wire after the draft.
Right. I agree.
In redraft leagues.
What about
especially
dynasty?
considering in redraft leagues, only about 50% of the teams even draft 2 quarterbacks.
Right.
So that's
what about dynasty?
That's only 18 to go around. So okay. I said we were right up against it, and we are most definitely right up against it. We just did a show and a half. You just missed the first half.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you joining us.
We do.
For the whole show. Just a reminder, if you haven't done it yet, close that chat window, hit like on that video so we can start getting in the algorithm. Next week, Queen Roxanne is not going to be with us.
I'm going to be in the mountains camping.
So I'm either going to come fly solo, or maybe I'll bring a special guest along with me. One way or another, thanks for stopping by today. We will continue dropping some draft thoughts and hitting the news all the way through the off season. And then when the season comes, this show's going to get real fun. So thanks a lot. Say goodnight, Roxanne.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. Jamie, you make the chat awesome. And don't be sad. I won't be here next week. I'll be here the next week.
That's right. All right. Go to bed, Amber. Don't make a mess.
Tom Brady, sleep well. I know you're already in bed. Did you play the player? Wait, are we done being live?
How many times do I have to press this button? Bye, guys. Thanks so much for watching.